Now boarding solo flight with Nicole Anderson. Hey guys, welcome back to the pod. I can't believe we are entering season 3. It is 2025. I think it's kind of late now for me to say Happy New Year, but since I haven't seen you guys yet, let me be the last to say. Hindi na first kasi super late. Let me be the last to say Happy New Year 2025. I hope your guys' year is off to a good or at least steady start. I am a little bit rusty. Obviously, you guys know, a lot of you guys have been DMing na medyo napatagal yung break ko. Sorry. I think if you guys check my vlogs and on Instagram, you will see naman that ang dami talaga nangyari in December. So, let's do a quick catch up before we get into the meat of the episode. So, what happened in December and most of my January? We're still filming this in January. So, just to give you guys some context, as I'm filming this, January pa rin, okay? All right, so in December, it really felt like it went by so fast. Like it was such a blur kasi, as you guys know, in the life of a freelancer, marami talagang nangyayari in December. Syempre, maraming Christmas parties, corporate events, end of year awardings, ganyan. Tapos syempre, meron ka ring mga familial obligations, catch ups with your friends, mga Christmas parties, na sa sobrang daming nangyayari. Honestly, gumigising na ako at one point. Hindi ko na alam anong araw na, ano na nangyayari. Like, it was all one blur. It blended into one big blur. And so, I really felt I felt that the year had really, what do I want to say? I think I felt that the month had monthed me. Like, I was just so spent already that I knew I needed a break, which is why we ended the season early in December so that I would allow myself for some time for all of those obligations and then give me some time of a break. And then also, I think naloka din yung body ko kasi I got sick during the week of Christmas, which wasn't really the best. And also it was hard for me to feel festive when you don't really feel your best, right? Siyempre, physically, you don't have energy and stuff. So I really said, okay, baka my body is telling me na kailangan ko na talaga magpahinga and I need to take it easy. So that's why I took the rest that I did. And in January naman, so that actually I took a holiday. So in December, I flew to Hong Kong for a few days and I didn't pressure myself. I didn't vlog. I didn't want to have to feel obligated to post online in the moment. And if I did, lahat sila late post because I also wanted to be focused in the moment and really enjoy my holiday, because I noticed in the last 8 years or however long I've been doing this and posting online, I have so many photos and so many memories, but I forgot what a real holiday felt like. I didn't know what it felt like to do nothing. I was like, what was that like? And I think on my second or third day in Hong Kong, I was like, I texted my friends. Sabi ko, guys, ganito pala feeling ng actual bakasyon. Yung wala ka talagang gagawin, pahinga. And ninamnam ko talaga siya kasi I don't remember the last time naramdaman ko yung ganung level na pahinga, na hindi ako na-pressure kahit stories kailangan ko mag-post. So, masyado ko siyang na-enjoy. hanggang January, ninamnam ko talaga siya. So, January was weird naman kasi kung ano yung kinabilis ng December for me, yun naman yung kina-chill ng January, which I almost appreciate because I like that it's almost easing me into the new year. Hindi siya yung parang, New Year, pak! Ngarag ulit. You know what I mean? So, I really like that. But it also felt na ang haba ng January. Ako lang ba? Let me know in the comment section how you guys felt with how January was. I know a lot of you guys have been DMing na you've been waiting for these episodes and for season 3. So here we are. I'm finally working on it. Take note ha, it's still January while I'm filming this. So baka naman isipin nyo nakalimutan ko kayo. No, we're still filming in January, but it might take some time to edit and come out to you. So by the time this gets out, maybe it's Feb. So I'm guessing mga Feb to lalabas. So meaning love month, 'di ba? Now I know a lot of our listeners are single and you guys actually have some questions about dating which I will get to in a little bit. But I don't want February to feel like a month of love stereotypically just between a relationship of whatever your partner is, right? Or whoever your partner is. I don't want it to feel like it needs to be focused on just dating. Although we will touch on that, but I think February is a love month as a whole, so it can be love for anything. It can be familial love, it can be self-love, and I think that's what I want to focus on for this month. So if there are any questions or topics about love, whatever that means for you, kung family love, kung self-love, kung dating love, kung friendship love, kung anumang love yan for you, let me know if you guys have any questions or situations that you need some advice in. I can give my unprofessional advice as a non-doctor slash non-psychiatrist. I can give only advice from my standpoint and from my experiences in life. So if that is something you guys are interested in, or we could also tackle it with a guest, let me know in the comment sections, because at the end of the day, I want to give you guys content that you guys want to see and that you guys will enjoy. So let me know in the comment section what you guys want to talk about or any questions you might have so that we can tackle that. That being said, I want to show you guys some love also by answering a lot of the questions that we weren't able to get to in season 2. I know some of you guys have been following up and asking, medyo napatagal ang response. So eto na, we're gonna get to your questions. So whatever questions you guys sent in, I'm gonna do my best to answer them. Also, before we get to the questions, I want to show you guys love by saying thank you so much because of the feedback that we got from the last 2 seasons. I don't know if you guys saw my post on Instagram stories, but you guys made our podcast reach the top 1%, which is amazing on Spotify. So, guys, I cannot show you appreciation enough, and so I want to say thank you so much for doing that. For everyone who has been sharing the episodes, sharing it with your coworkers, your friends, your parents, your kabarkada, whoever it is, I really appreciate it. And also who have been sharing online, keep sharing it, guys. Help me grow this community because I think we can all grow with each other and learn from each other. So, that being said, we are going to dive into our questions that you guys sent over. I think our first question is how to not feel miserable after being ghosted. Wow, we are getting straight into it. Boom, ghosted again. Okay, so her question is how do you not feel miserable? I think one, we have to acknowledge first na it's okay to feel crappy after being ghosted because who wants ba to be ghosted? Wala naman, di ba? Wala namang umasa na i-ghost kayo ng tao, kung sino man yan. So, I think it's normal to feel sad and to feel a sense of, as you mentioned, misery in your question. But I think what me and my friends do, we ask each other, are you hurt that he ghosted you because you genuinely like this person and you genuinely feel na like nagmahalang kayo or whatever man? Because usually, okay, meron din namang nang-ghost na long-term relationship. Pero most often, in my experience, ang nang-ghost parang sa simula or sa awkward dating phase, like usually medyo early on yan. Syempre, mas masakit kung matagal. But my friends and I ask each other, masakit ba kasi minahal mo talaga siya? Or masakit ba kasi nasaktan yung ego mo? And those are two different things. And when you realize, more often than not, with me and my friends, ego siya. Kasi parang, ang feeling mo, go-ghost mo, ako? Yung ganon, yung feeling na, why would you ghost me? How dare you? Syempre, hurt ka, yung pride mo affected, right? When you know that it's your pride, I think it's a lot easier to let it go kasi you know that it's a little bit, it's a more shallow reason for holding on to the pain, right? When you know that it's your ego, you can then address it and look inward because then it's a you dilemma that why am I holding on to this pain caused by my ego, right? And it's a lot easier to work on the ego, although arguably it's still difficult. But if you genuinely love this person, I think for you not to feel miserable, you have to keep reminding yourself that if this person genuinely cared about you, they wouldn't ghost you to begin with. And as painful as that sounds, because it's a little bit of parang salt to the wound, na parang ginos ka na nga, ngayon maririnig mo na you weren't important to them, right? It hurts, but then it's also a wake-up call na, why am I gonna spend time on someone who didn't even give me the decency of, cutting it off cleanly or giving me a reason or kung ano man yun? Then you can give that closure to yourself. Because, okay, kung it wasn't important enough for you to say bye or for you to end it amicably, then don't give them that power. Don't let that person hold your happiness away from you. 'Di ba? Kumbaga, you are giving that person the power to make you feel miserable. But if you take the power back and say, okay, if you didn't care about me, wag na, 'di ba? I'm gonna take that energy to focus on myself, which is why I said self-love earlier, right? You can take this time to really focus on yourself, look inward, hang out with your friends a lot more. Usually, especially kapag nag-ghost ka, syempre your friends have your back. They're team you, 'di ba? So, if they hear na ginos ka, minsan nga for me mas galit pa yung friends ko kaysa ako eh. Kasi syempre, kabarkada nila, ha, ikaw ginos ka nila? Hell no, 'di ba? Tapos i-hype up ka ng friends mo, ganyan. So, I think leaning on your community, whoever that is for you, will really help boost your self-esteem, also your happiness, and remind you that you are still surrounded by so much love, right? It might just look differently in the time being, but at the end of the day, don't give that person that power. And also, I will say, don't take it personally kasi you don't know what the other person is going through, right? Like, issue na niya yun. Kasi also, if a person can't communicate clearly, that's not something you want, right? You, ideally, I would hope for you, you would want someone who can communicate, 'di ba? So kung pinakita pa niya early on na hindi niya kaya mag-communicate, extra reason na yun na, oh, okay, red flag next, right? So hopefully that helps you feel a little bit better and move on from this potential sad situation. Turn it around. Take the power back. Okay, next question is, how do you know that something in your life is really for you, and would you take the risk? Interesting question. How do you know that something in your life is really for you? I think there are a lot of ways to look at this question because it is a little bit vague, so we can look at it in many different ways. But I think there are a few ways I could look at it and also look back on situations where I had to take a risk in my life. For me to feel comfortable taking a risk on something, I am not the type of person who is very impulsive. I like to sit down and weigh my pros and cons and my thoughts internally. Sometimes I even write down, like, I will actually make a table of pros and cons. Also, how I will journal how I'm feeling. And in my experiences, I have a few in my life where one was moving away to college. And at that time, I actually didn't want to. I wanted to stay in the Philippines and keep working. And I actually wanted to study in the Philippines. But having spoken to my family at the time, my friends who loved me, and also the situation that I was in wasn't the most healthy. Even if it was really painful to leave my friends and family behind and everything I knew, my entire comfort zone, something in me felt that something had to change, but you don't have the actual answer. And I think this is where your intuition comes into play. And you know how they say that you have to listen to your gut feeling, because I think there are very few risks or decisions in life that are actually as traumatic or as devastating as people can think them to be, right? Like, aside from, I guess, death, which is the most scary risk of all, right? That's like the ultimate risk. Other things can happen, but then there are ways to rise above them. Like, I think risk is scary inherently because it assumes that obviously there is something to lose, right? That's why it's risk. There's something to be lost, like an opportunity cost, let's say. With every decision you make, your or road you take, there it's like a few other roads that you're not taking, right? But I genuinely believe that there's no one right path lang. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like if you didn't graduate from college forever, loser ka na, wala ka nang mararating in life, right? Success for people look differently. For some people, success means having a happy, healthy family. For some people, success means getting out of a toxic relationship. For some people, success means being a billionaire, right? Everyone's idea of success is different. So I think for you to know, because I can't give you a blueprint, I can't say this is how you will actually know that something is right for you and that you should take the risk. Inherently, you have to decide that for yourself. But then I think you need to empower yourself to know that no matter what decision you make, even if, quote unquote, some people say you make the wrong one, you need to trust in yourself na even if mali, you'll learn something from it and you'll grow from it. So let's say, for me andali ko sabihin na mali that I dated an ex of mine because it didn't work out, right? Or for some people, success in a relationship means marriage and a family and that's it, right? But success in a relationship can also mean you both successfully learned from each other and you grew. And for the time being, that relationship served its purpose for whatever it had to teach you in that moment. And okay, it outlived its, lifespan. But if you look back on it, did you die? No, right? So, unless that's the ultimate risk, there's still opportunities in life. Okay, so it's the same. Relationships, career. Let's say you didn't take the job that you wanted. Let's say you get fired from the first job. But did you die? No, right? So if you look at it from that extreme example, then it's okay. It's okay to take risks. So if I'm assuming you're asking this because you're probably trying to decide right now in making a decision in your life, maybe you can write in and give us a little bit more context so that I can, provide a little bit more of a specific response. But if you're in the middle of deciding or at a crossroads and you're trying to decide what road to take, I think go with what feels right for you right now. If it doesn't work out, like, then you can go back and take the other road. But if you can't, there will be a new road, or if there isn't, you can make your own road. So I think for me, in my opinion, okay, I don't have all the answers in life, but in my opinion and from my experiences, even when things don't go my way or I've taken a risk and it didn't work out, something better came out of it. So I hope that answers your question, and write back to let me know if it helped and what decision you ended up deciding on and taking and how you made the decision. All right. Okay, our third question is, have you ever hated someone so much? Ooh, girl, how much time you got? I'm kidding. Okay, let me think about that one. Have I ever hated someone so much? I think yes and no, because so much to the point na hanggat sa, what's that Tagalog term na hanggat sa you take it to your grave? What's that term? Hanggat sa hakuman? I think it's hukuman. Yung parang till your judgment day, dinadala mo yung galit na yun. Wala pa naman. Is the operative word. Wala pa. Pero maraming malapit na. No, I think I have, okay, in all honesty, I've had moments where I've really had a lot of intense anger towards a specific person. But I think kasi hate, tapos dinagdagan mo pa ng so much, parang ang lalim-lalim na nung pagkagalit nun, yung talagang to your bones, ganon. Wala pa naman. Pero merong mga to my skin. Hanggang skin level. Or siguro to my muscles. Ganong level na hatred. So I think yes, I have had anger towards people, but I would say that hindi na. And it didn't happen overnight. Obviously, I've gone through a lot of internal, I guess, like looking inward, I think is a proper word. Like I've looked inward and I've done a lot of work, I've done a lot of reading, a lot of therapy even, talking to my friends. And I realized that having that much anger towards someone is one, it's so heavy. Ang bigat buhatin to take that into your life. And inherently, I've never really been an angry person. That's not who I am. But of course, life happens and situations happen where you can't control it, and inevitably you will get hurt by people along the way. And I found that when I found myself in those dark situations, ang bigat kong tao, and it was changing me to the point na hindi na ako yun. Like, galit na ako, my temper was shorter, I was snappier at people. I was also very sickly. It manifested physically also. And you guys would hear this, not just from me, but a lot of my friends mentioned on this podcast that, a lot of my friends mentioned on this podcast that there was a time where I was also very sickly because of the things I was going through. It was manifesting physically. And I had to sit with myself, it didn't happen overnight, multiple times, and really wake myself up and be like, why is this happening? Where is this coming from? Why is it physically manifesting? You keep getting sick. At the end of the day, ikaw na lang yung nasasaktan. Because if you look at these people, you look at their Instagram, you hear stories, or like, sometimes they're still in your life, parang wala namang nagbago sa buhay nila. Pero ako, ba't ako nasa ER? Bakit ako may swero sa braso ko? Bakit ako nagsusuka mag-isa sa banyo? Alam mo yung ganon, yung binubuhat ko lahat ng pain, pero wala silang kabuhat-buhat. And doon ako nagising na parang, why am I the only one carrying this pain? So I had to make the decision, you know what, I need to let this go, because at this point, it's really not healthy. And if I keep going down this path, it might not look or end well for me. Like, I was getting sick a lot, and it wasn't healthy na. I had to be like, look, I need to let this go, or I need to find a solution. I need to get out of this, right? So I had to do the work. I did a therapy session with a life coach years ago where she said, you have to forgive. And forgiveness doesn't mean that you're letting them off the hook, but it's a gift you're giving yourself, because you are releasing this baggage and this pain that you are carrying. And at first, annoyed pa ako nung sinabi niya yun, because I'm like, how dare they get off the hook? Like, parang in my mind, asan ang hustisya? Like, where is the justice that they get to behave this way in the world and there is no repercussions for them? And yet, in the meantime, I have so many physical repercussions and health repercussions. And then, I also realized that, you know what? My point kasi it's no longer woo-woo. It's no longer just fancy words that people say. I was living it. I was literally getting sick. And I was like, okay, you know what? What do I have to lose? Sige na nga, try ko. Noong una, ayoko pa. Like, she was saying pa the words like, I forgive you. I'm like, I forgive you. Yeah, yung nag-roll pa yung eyes ko, like, whatever. Like, sinasabi ko lang, okay, fine, I forgive you. And then, we kept doing it as a practice hanggat sa it became easier. And then it became easier. And then, eventually, parang I started to believe it na, nga no, parang gumagaan yung pakiramdam ko. I don't know what the science is. Again, I'm not a scientist, I'm not a professional, I'm not a doctor. I only know what I felt, right? But eventually, gumagaan yung pakiramdam ko. And then eventually, kumukonti na rin yung visit ko sa hospital. So I said, okay, something must be working. Until the point na, you know what? Guys, problema nyo na yan. Like, ayoko nang buhatin yung pagkatao mo. Bubuhatin ko yung issue na binigay mo sa akin. Wag na. Kung ganyan ka tao, bahala ka. Problem mo na yan. I don't have to deal with it. So, yeah, until I got to a point where I no longer let it have the power over me, I think. Because I think you can still hold people accountable. And it doesn't necessarily mean that these people are going to be my best friends and that I'm going to call them, we're going to catch up, we're going to hang out over coffee. No. But they also don't have to have any power in my life, or they don't have to have anything to do with my life. And I find that so liberating and so freeing. And I hope, even if you're listening to this and you're rolling your eyes, girl, so was I, okay? But I can only tell you what I feel and how I feel so much better now. So this is, this is a space where I feel like I'm doing better in my life. So I prefer to stay here. I also really believe in karma. Like, if you guys believe in that, whatever that means, for some people, they lean on their religious beliefs and they believe that if they pray, di ba, sometimes they say, si God na bahala sa'yo. Some other people naman say, bahala na si Batman. Kung gusto mo si God or si Batman or kung sino man ang gusto mong paniwalaan, I somehow believe that you'll get your own. Kung it might come in a different form, pero kung masama siyang tao, trust that babalik sa kanya yun, kung ano mang sitwasyon, kung however that looks like for them. And kung alam mo deep in your heart na hindi ka naman masamang tao, although we're all flawed, wala namang perfect, ako rin may mga pagkakamali ako, pero I know that I don't genuinely mean harm to people. Like, I don't want to actually hurt people. I'm gonna make mistakes and I still will. Pero kung alam mong you just keep trying, okay, I make a mistake, and then I'll apologize and I'll try to learn from it and I'll try to be better, then trust that something better will come and better people will come into your life. Because I think you attract the energy that you put out there. So if you put positive, loving energy out there, positive, loving people will find you, and you will be surrounded by that also. So I hope that answers your question. I hope it makes you feel better. And maybe just try, even if you're rolling your eyes. Bitawan mo na lang yan. Because also, hindi mo ikakaganda yan, girl. Nakaka-wrinkles ang hatred. Sabi ni Doc Bello, nakaka-age ang hatred. Nung sinabi niya yun, sabi ko, ay Doc, na-forgive ko na. forgive na. Umaangat na ba? So, if karma, if health isn't enough reason, hindi siya nakakaganda. So, yun. Alright. Okay, I didn't realize ang dami ko na palang nasabi. Nasa 30 minutes na tayo. So, let's do one last and then we'll answer more questions. Also, let me know pala in the comment section if you guys like these Q&As so we can do more of them. So, the question goes, eto yung una niyang tinanong. Sabi niya, how to slowly detach from a friend that you see regularly? Tapos nag-reply ako kasi I like the question. Sabi ko, oh, good question. Any specific scenarios or more details para we can give better insight? She goes, kasi I have this friend na I found out after a year na may mga tao na who would talk behind my back, false accusation, and masakit sobra. Nakinig lang siya and somehow nag-agree. Since 1 year ko pa bago nalaman, napatawad ko naman. Kaso, lately, galing din sa kanya na naulit pa din yung ganong topic na ako sa other friend niya. Pero, like mga misunderstanding namin na minsan lang naman, tapos may attitude din siyang biglang hindi mamamansin for a period of time, tapos ia-ask mo why, wala naman daw, paulit-ulit lang, nasa point na ako na ayoko na siyang friend. Kaso, regular ko siyang nakikita at nakakasama kasi same group of friends lang din kami. Paano ako mag-detach na hindi very obvious? Okay, so that is her question. I think we can actually, this is a situation a lot of us can relate to. And maybe we can do an entire episode on this later down the line. Pero let's do a quick answer for this one lang. So basically, she wants to detach. She wants to almost umiwas dito sa friend, pero mahirap iwasan kasi nga same barkada sila. You know what? I've also been in that situation a long time ago. And it's hard kasi syempre ayaw mong pagpiliin yung friends mo, 'di ba? Syempre barkada kayo tapos wala namang kinalaman yung issue dun sa ibang tao. So bakit mo sasabihin na, choose ako o siya, 'di ba? Parang ang awkward. And wala namang parang big huge fallout na nangyari na whatever, like tipong inahas niya yung asawa mo or something na mag-FO talaga kayo, which means friendship over. So I would say maybe slowly just be intentional about when you hang out with your friends. Focus na lang your energy on the friends around you. Hindi naman kailangan, like kapag hangout, di naman yan parang board meeting, di ba? Na parang lahat kayo, oh guys, meron ba tayong hinanakit na kailangan, like just keep it light. Just be chill, whatever. It doesn't have to be a big, deep, heavy thing. So, if the person's there, you don't have to ignore them. Because also, ayaw mong maging weird yung energy sa barkada na parang all of a sudden, pag pumasok siya, tatahimik ka na lang. 'Di ba? Kasi your friends also will get that energy. Ma-feel din nila, tas magiging awkward when you guys all hang out. So just be chill about it. Be like, oh, hey, how are you? Okay. Kumbaga isipin mo lang, parang co-worker mo siya na, 'di ba minsan may mga coworker tayo na nakakairita but at the end of the day you have to work together and araw-araw mo silang makikita. Pero hindi ka naman magdadrama sa office, 'di ba? So chill lang. Hi, hello. Small talk, ganyan. Pero move on with your life. Hindi mo naman kailangan siyang i-update kapag may mga big life changes sa buhay mo. And I think magagets na rin niya. And I think dun sa sinabi mo na kapag tinatanong mo naman, hindi rin siya umaamin. Like, kapag may issue, she just avoids. So, it seems like she has an avoidant attachment style. And you can't also force people to come to you if they are unwilling. There's only so much you can do, right? So, if in your context or in your story, it seems like you've approached her, you've asked her, and she just brushes it off, ano pa bang pwede mong gawin, di ba? Hindi mo naman siya pwedeng ikulong tapos against her will, tell me! You can't do that. So, okay, you tried. You tried to reach out. Ayaw niya mag-open up. Tapos, you found out that they're talking behind your back, which is also a little shady, in my opinion. So, just slowly do your own thing. And on days when you're not hanging out with your friends, unless araw-araw kayo nagkikita in school or whatever, just live your own life. Focus on doing your own thing. Focus on things that make you happy. And the energy that you once had with this person na dati lagi mo nakikita, just put it into someone else who isn't talking behind your back or who isn't giving you grief or giving you negative vibes, right? Because at the end of the day, life is so short. Like, it's long, but it's also short. So choose the people you surround yourself with na lang, and eventually if she's ready and willing, pwede niyo pag-usapan, 'di ba? Because it doesn't have to be naman na ang tagal kong kinimkim to and you did this and whatever. Okay, pag ready na siya, pwede siyang lumapit sa'yo kasi na-try mo na eh. Ayaw niya. Okay, so when she's ready, she'll go to you. And if she's not, there's nothing else you can do about it. And hopefully, you can then foster other relationships. Maybe in future friendships, if someone asks you and you feel safe enough to open up and be like, oh, why aren't you close to that person anymore? Why don't you guys hang out anymore? Be like, well, you know what? It hurt me that, she was talking behind my back. And I hope that, I never have to deal with that again. So that way, your other friends know that, oh, this is actually a boundary that I shouldn't cross with her. For some people, it should be pretty obvious, right? Like, if you were real friends with someone, you shouldn't really be talking smack behind their back. I always tell my friends that if I have something to say about you to another person, I'm gonna tell you to your face also. Sorry, the camera got cut. But anyway, I think you get my point that you can slowly just focus that energy on someone else. Also communicate in your future relationships, your future friendships that, this really hurt me. I hope I never have to deal with that with you. And like I said earlier, if I have an issue with you, I'm just going to tell you, right? So I also think that you need to be able to walk the talk. So if you want people to not talk about you behind your back, you have to give them the same decency, or, like I said, walk the talk. So I've done this before and be like, hey, I don't like when you said this. But then when you squash it, you really have to squash it. Some people parang they make it mind games na, okay, I'm gonna tell you ha, pero even after work, okay, magtatampo pa rin ako or weird pa rin. Like, no na. Pag napag-usapan na, tapos na, iwanan mo na dun. 'Di ba? Para maka-move on talaga kayo. So, you said you approached her, ayaw niya. Hopefully, eventually she'll be okay to talk to you. If not, then just continue on with doing that with your other friends. That way, they also feel that you have established an environment where they can also feel comfortable to talk to you if they feel like, there's something to be addressed. So I hope that's helpful. And I've been talking for quite some time, so I'm going to wrap the Ask Me Anything part here. And if you guys have any other questions, comments, or suggestions, let us know in the comment section. Also, please don't forget to rate the show and share it. Please, please, please share it with a friend, loved one, family member, whoever it is, co-worker. Share it with a salty friend. Kung gusto mo, send mo sa kanya to. Tapos sabihin ko sa kanya, huy, umamin ka na sa friend mo, or stop talking behind your friend's back, dude. Like, if you can't tell her, I'll be the one. Here, I told her na. Okay, share it with her. Sana magets mo na rin kung ikaw yung nakikinig para mas-squash nyo na rin yung issue. Alright, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. As usual, we will see you next Monday. And yeah, season 3, guys. Here we go. Bye!